One day in August 1999 I returned to do a parcel test in the basement of the post office I had been seeing the dark figure in. The Postal Service had since installed several automated mail sorting machines down there. Lots of noise, lots of lights, and a crew of about a dozen or so people were almost always there. Still, I was apprehensive that I might find myself alone again at some point. On the long drive to the office I told myself that, if I had the opportunity to see the figure again, I would resist the urge to turn around and try to perceive more details about it. I arrived about 4:45 a.m., and after having had a couple of cups of coffee on the drive there, the call of nature was overwhelming. In the corner of the basement opposite the location of the storeroom was a small restroom with 3 commodes and no stall partitions, with old pipes hanging from the ceiling and its painted cracked brick wall. Even the lavatory was creepy. The bathroom had a newly installed modern motion sensing light switch with a shut-off timer. I reached in to turn on the light, and as soon as the light went on it went off again. I used the switch's push button this time, and still it quickly went out again. Finally I held the button in for several seconds, and it stayed on. As I was standing over the commode just about to relieve myself, the light switch made a cute little electric buzz sound, and I was plunged into total darkness. Immediately I thought, I think I'll use the upstairs bathroom. I zipped up and groped in the dark for the door, and pushed it open. As I went up the stairs I couldn't help but wonder if the villainous light switch was just faulty, or bedeviled. At this point I had already told my wife about the suicide in the storeroom. That night when I told her about the bathroom light, she said it was the spirit, and he was being playful. Ha ha. Getting back to the story, I felt somewhat emboldened by the presence of the machine crew on the other side of the basement, and thought I might try another seeing technique used by shamans. They would intentionally blur their eyes, or even cross them to distort their vision. They believed that anytime your vision is altered from the normal it forces other subsenses into play. The trick is to look for anything that looks like it might be energy or movement. I saw nothing with this technique, and considered the possibility that the spirit was afraid of so many living beings in his basement. But later that morning something odd did happen. When I finished my test I went out to my car park to cross the street from the post office building. I started the car and put it into drive, then glanced into my rear view mirrors before proceeding. There were no cars coming, but I did see a pedestrian directly behind the car behind me. He looked like he was getting ready to cross the street to the side with the post office on it. He appeared to be in his late 50s with thinning gray hair, and wore a faded green windbreaker. I checked my driver's side mirror to see if he had started to cross, and I didn't see him. Looking in my rear view mirror I no longer saw him behind the car. I put my car into park, and turned around in my seat for a better look. No sign of him anywhere. The only logical explanation would be if he had literally leaped 15 feet into the bushes to my car's right, and opposite the direction he appeared about to be going originally. The illogical explanation is that perhaps I did get to see more than is usually visible. Looking into my rear view mirror, then through my back windshield, and then through the two windshields of the car behind me can certainly be considered not to be normal vision. I saw him through literally 4 sheets of glass. I mean the rear view mirror, and 3 windshields. Seers throughout the ages have stared into crystal balls to alter their normal vision, and stimulate their other senses. Did seeing through all that glass have a similar effect? I have heard about alleged hauntings, where faces were seen peering out of windows of houses thought to be empty. Yes, the pedestrian could have been in my imagination, but if I fall back on the shamanic technique, they believe that everything you perceive is real. Real in this world, or real in another. Shortly thereafter, the entire operation, save for the window clerks, was moved to a new modern facility outside of town.